Right, we're really nearly ready. Welcome everybody. It's Roger from the Internet Business School here for our weekly dose of Saturday School. Good morning, Hazel. Who have we got in? We've got Andrew here, Andrew Milburn. Welcome. Edward's in. Who else we got? Shirley. Welcome, Shirley. There's a few more people joining. Okay. Let's just let a few more people in and we'll kick off. Okay, okay, so just normal rules apply. If you need to chat with me, please use the chat window, not the Q&A section, because otherwise I have so many boxes up on the screen, I can't watch all of them. So please use the chat. As ever, this will be recorded and will be processed and added to our Saturday School YouTube channel. It usually takes about a week to process, so you can catch all the recordings on the YouTube channel. And we've just clicked over a year of doing Saturday School, so if you've been with us from the start, fantastic, well done. If you're just joining us, well, hopefully you're going to enjoy some really good quality content and training that we give for free every week. Always in the emails that we send out for Saturday School, if you're registered, there is a link to remind you of where you can sign up for the YouTube channel, and you'll get notifications when new content is added. Okay, so this week is all about, it's kind of like some basic training of using Google properly. And all the Google apps. Essentially, we have so many people in the business who are using lots of different email providers and different browsers, and it gets kind of we kind of see that people aren't using the full capability of all the free apps that are out there, especially if you're doing internet marketing. If you're doing internet marketing and you want to build an income on the internet, you know, it makes sense to use Google. So before we kick off, okay, let's just have a bit of a survey and just see, I want to find out which email provider you use normally, and also which website browser you use out of choice. Okay, so I'm just going to launch a poll here for you, and let's find out what the spread is. Hopefully you can see that. Because I've been looking up what the British and world averages are for the use of certainly browsers. It'd be interesting to see what the audience is. So they're all coming in. All right, let's just leave it a little bit longer. Because the more answers we get, the more sort of reliable the data will be in terms of the spread of the audience. Okay, so we've got about 37 responses so far. Any more? Any more? Any more? Any more? Okay. Let's just have a little look. Right, I'm just going to share the results for you here. Okay, so we had 35% of people, a third of people using Gmail, then Outlook, Yahoo, and Hotmail. No AOLs, BT Internet, and a few people with some extra ones. So about a third using Gmail. Okay, and in terms of browsers, yeah, about 2/3 using Google Chrome, which actually matches what the sort of average is for the world. I think it's about 65% of people use Google Chrome, and then it's Safari next. Is in terms of the world average, I think it's about 18% for Safari, and then the Edge and Internet Explorer, and then in the UK it tends Firefox has a little bit of a following, which is an interesting phenomenon. Okay, so we can see we've got a sort of for me, from my point of view, 35% using Gmail and 60% using Chrome. Okay, but the question is, are you using them to their full advantage? Okay, just in the chat, would you consider, just let me know if you consider yourself to be a bit of a whiz on Google and the Google apps and have got it nice, set up nice and secure, or whether you've just got it set up, you know, just because you've got a Gmail. And it's just, you know, you've got to use Gmail for an email address, but don't use any of the other facilities. Just Gmail, chat. Some use Google Suite. Yeah, not a whiz, but slowly optimizing. Yeah, that's no problem. I expect it's understandable, because I suppose if anyone considered themselves to be a whiz, they might not have joined this Saturday school. But hey, they might miss out on something, a little bit of a tip. Okay, because actually one of the good things that we can do today is if anyone's got any really great tips or extensions or ways that you use Gmail or the Google apps, good to hear of them. Okay, so let's just have a little look through about on Google, what we're talking about with Google Apps. Okay, so Google has got so many tools, it's ridiculous. Now, these are just some of the more common ones. So there's a Chrome browser. It's the Google's own browser, and that is built to work with all the Google account. So it integrates really nicely, and it's a smooth transition. You've got Gmail, the Google Calendar, YouTube. You can see all of these. Some of them you'll use, some of them you won't. The idea of these sessions now is to, over the next few Saturday schools that I'll be doing, I want to take you through a few more of these apps so that you know how to use them. Okay. So is there anyone who doesn't use Google or Gmail because they're worried about Google being, you know, the dominant player in the market? They're worried about security. You don't like giving up detail. Just give me some experiences. John says you find Google very difficult to deal with. They're abrupt and rude. Anyone else? I think they're like any big company, they can be quite difficult to deal with through their support services, but then they do cover over 1 billion customers, I should think, if not more. So I expect they've got 1 or 2 telephone calls. Okay. Catherine says you worry about Google and your data. Okay. Catherine, do you then use Firefox? Trevor, yeah, Trevor uses Firefox. You don't use Chrome because of privacy and tracking issues. Firefox feels safer. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Firefox is another browser, which is an open source browser, and it's run by a non-profit company. And it's, you know, if you put them side by side, the Firefox browser with Google Chrome, on most levels, Chrome just about comes out in front. Firefox does come out a little bit better in terms of security. But I'm going to show you how to make your Google more secure, and also control as much as possible what data you're sharing with them. Okay, but the fact is, Google has 99.5% of all emails are sent through sorry, that's the wrong figure. They get an awful lot of the volume of searches through their Google browsers. Basically their databases and information are so much better than any other browser, and so there's a negative side of Google having some of your information, but you're able to access the information that other people are putting into their search engines. So if you've ever used Google Trends, that's an amalgamation of what people are searching for. So if you're doing internet marketing, you want to have access to that information, and you want as a good quality information as possible. And if you just have to think about, have you got any sort of home devices? If you try and compare Alexa, Amazon's Alexa, to Google Chrome, or to the Google Home Hub, you try and put a query into Alexa, and 9 times out of 10 it comes up with something a bit crazy, or I don't know that. Alexa is quite good for turning things on and off, but in terms of basic information, I find it absolutely terrible compared to Google. Okay, so let's just move on, because I want to get through these first bits, and then we're going to do a bit more of a sort of hands-on demonstration to set things up. Okay, so if you're getting things set up straightforward, we recommend Google Chrome. The reason being, it is built for all these Google apps, and the integration is really smooth. And it's interestingly, back in about 2009, Internet Explorer was the dominant platform, the browser. Had about 2/3 of the world usage, and Chrome was just 1%. And by March this year, according to the latest stats, Internet Explorer, or Edge, has got about 4% of the market share, and Chrome 65%. As I said, second place is Safari with 19%. So Chrome has really sort of taken off, and it's because you can sort of integrate it across various devices and various apps. So if you haven't started with a Google account yet, or a Gmail, then the first step in the process is to download Chrome. Okay, so you just go to just Google download Chrome, and you'll come up for the right option for your device. Okay, so the next thing that you do is you need to set up a Google account. Okay, and this is effectively starting with setting up a Gmail. Okay, so you go to accounts.google.com/sign-up. It's quite a straightforward process, a first name, last name, and then you're trying to find a email address that you like, that is not being taken by anyone else. Now, bear in mind that Gmail have probably had billions, literally billions of accounts set up. It can take a little bit of time just to find the right variation. You can only use letters, numbers, and periods. Periods is just a full stop. Okay, so there's no sort of underscores or anything like that. But essentially, fairly quickly you can find a Gmail address that you like, or once you put in a few search terms, Google will suggest some options for you of what might be free. Okay, and then you've got probably the most important part of the day, which is your Google account password. Okay, this is the most critical security device you will pretty much ever use. Okay, this is the key to all of your data is in this password. So if you've started off with Google Chrome, Google Chrome will by default, it will remember your passwords and store your passwords. Okay, so you can put quite a complex password in here and save it to your browser. So anytime you're logging in, it will pre-fill the boxes for you. Okay, if you're just want to be a bit more careful, then you just open a sort of a text pad or write it on a piece of paper, just so that you've got that password secure somewhere. Okay, so this wants to be completely different from any other password you've ever used and be quite complex. So no capitals on the first word, then a 3-digit number, and then a percentage, please, on that one. Make it complicated. Okay. One thing that a lot of people always forget in this process is setting the language. Okay, because it always defaults to English United States, depending on your sort of browser locations. You can change that to English UK. It's quite good to do that right from the start, because that will actually drive the sort of settings of the currency signs that are used in sheets. So it'll show pounds instead of dollars. You can change it afterwards, but it's good to get it set up for your territory right from the start. Okay, so Google account. Once you've set up your Google account, this is a look inside the front page of my Google account for the business, and it shows we have a sort of paid account here to have extra data. It checks up on your privacy. If you've got any email addresses that have been pawned or released in data breaches, it will do a scan of those and tell you, and it will try and look after all your security. We'll have a look at a live page in a moment. Okay, I won't be able to show you the personal info bit. That gets driven from when you're setting up your account. So once you've gone through that first screen of setting up your Google account, you then have to put in your date of birth and your telephone number, which is very important to have your telephone number in there. A mobile is good, and I'll explain why in a while. And also another recovery email address. So if you ever lose access to your account or forget your password or something goes wrong, you can send a password reset to another email address, and it'll also tell you if any security alerts are going on in your account. Okay. So there's lots of sections in here for your Google account. Okay, this is where we'll have a look at the data and privacy settings, and this is going to be the really important one that we deal with today: security. Okay, you can also add in payment cards saved to your browser and Google Pay and things like that, just to make your browsing more simple. The cards are kept secure; they have to be accessed with the 3-digit card verification code to bring them up, so they don't just auto-populate the entire time. Okay, but we're gonna go through this in a minute and look at these sections apart from my personal info. You don't want to see how old I really am. Okay, and then I'm also going to show you how to do all the security setup. Okay, so the great thing with Google, and this is what is that when you're logging in, okay, you can just log in with your email and password, but the best at adding in another level of security using your mobile phone. Now, if you've got a fairly modern mobile phone, you can that's got is it NFC, the near field communication. So when you tap your phone to pay on a going through the tube or something like that. That's just using NFC, or if you've got a smartwatch. Okay, so as long as your phone is nearby to your computer, we can set it up so that it puts up an alert on your phone and says, is this you trying to sign in? And you can, if it's you, it's yes. If it's not you, then you can stop that security, stop that login. Okay, so this is super important as your extra layer of security. Because essentially, if anyone's ever going to get into your data, now with Google, all your data is held on the cloud on the Google secure servers. Ian was asking, has Google ever been hacked and password compromised? I don't believe they, well, certainly not published that it's happened, but you can make it. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, most systems have been hacked at some point, but I've never heard of Google of having any sort of serious data breaches. It might be through sort of third-party apps, which I'll show you about. Okay, but yeah, their whole business is built on that sort of security. Okay, there are other options that I'll show you when we go through that security. I'm going to recommend you use this Google prompt to your phone. Google also provides you with some backup codes. So if everything goes wrong, you've got some sort of 9 or 10 digit numbers that you can use to log into your account as a one-off. So you keep those sort of written down somewhere completely separate. There is something called an authenticator app that some people use, which can be a little bit fiddly. But you know, you can store all sorts of logins in an authenticator app. I used to use it, and it kind of worked very well for some of the payment processes that we use in the business, or logging into an Amazon account. But I stopped using it when one thing they don't tell you is if you actually change your phone and don't transfer the data across from your old phone to your new phone before you wipe it, you've lost all your logins, which is an absolute pain. You can set your login just to send you a voice or text message, or the more modern phones as well have an inbuilt security key, and your login can be set to read the key on your phone, just to prove it's you. So using these sort of security settings, okay, it means if anyone's trying to get into your account, okay, they've got to have your email address, they've got to have your password, they've got to have access to your phone as well. Okay, so you're probably all got sort of some sort of fingerprint security or pattern security on your phone, or a code, entry code. So you're just making it super difficult for people to break into your accounts. Okay, how many people have got this sort of second layer of login security on their accounts? Edward does. Good. Yeah. Des, yes. Richard, no. Yeah. Gasper. John. So it's probably about looks about 50-50. Okay, so let's get I'll show you the 50% of people who haven't got it. We'll show you how to do it. Okay, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump out of these slides, and we're then going to have a look around. So let me just end that show, and let me just make sure that we're looking at the right screen share. I'm just going to start me. Right. My little green screen has gone, hi, this is me. Just while I can set up another screen share of the desktop. There we go. How's that? Can you see the Google browser there? where's my chat gone? Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Charles. It's always fun when you jump out of the slides on Zoom because a lot of the boxes I've got set up disappear. Okay, so basics. This is where we start for getting your Chrome download. If you're putting Chrome onto your mobile phone, then you've got the browsers through the Play stores. Okay, and using the Google account, which I'll show you in a moment, you can actually synchronize all your data from what you see on your desktop is the same information that you'll see on your mobile phone. I think I've got my Chrome account or my Google account logged into about 5 different computers. So if I'm swapping devices, I've just got the same information all the time. Okay, so Chrome is downloaded, and so I've got Chrome set up here. The little pointers on Chrome is let's just go to the first thing I'd say with Chrome, okay, is about keeping it up to date. Now, Google launch have a whole load of updates all the time. If they get a device, a security risk, okay, they push an update through far quicker than any other provider. Okay, but one thing that people don't do is once Google sends out an update, somewhere in the top right hand corner you see an update button will appear. Okay, and a lot of people ignore that update button. Now Chrome will actually only apply the updates if you physically tell it to. Okay, so always sort of click on the update button. It will close Chrome, apply the updates, and reopen where you previously were. Okay, so yes, always put the updates in. Chris says, if I use Chrome, do I need McAfee? Yeah, it's always kind of a good practice to have some extra level of protection on your device. I kind of only really use free protection on our computers, but then we have Macs, which are generally seen to be a little bit safer. If I was on Windows, I'd probably have something paid, but you don't need to pay over the odds for these systems. Okay, and if you want to go completely secure, then you're better off investing in a VPN, the virtual private network, which hides your IP address from anyone else. So if you are very security conscious, a VPN is the way to go. It's about $3 a month, I think, for something like NordVPN. So, okay, just stop for a quick question. Billy asks, what's the difference in Google and Google Chrome? Okay, so Google is the whole sort of setup of so Google search. Google Chrome is the browser. Okay, it's the actual program that we're using to access the internet and bring up the pages. So it's good to get the terminology right. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Billy. But if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat box rather than the Q&A, please, just so that I can keep up with everything. Okay. Sally asks, why don't you have automatics updates selected? Well, it will look for updates automatically, but it won't apply them automatically. But it does put this a button up here, top right-hand corner, saying you've got an update. So you can choose to, well, if you to update it or not. Okay. So this is my I've done Google Chrome, right? Chrome settings. Okay, You've got them in two different places. So you've either got under the Chrome preferences, takes you to the settings, or in the top right-hand corner, there's three little dots, which also takes you to the settings as well. Okay. So these are all the options you have. I've got my Chrome syncing to all my other devices, so that if I'm searching and working on a different computer, the history is still on this device. Or if I change a password on a different computer for a website, it will be updated into this one browser. Okay, so I've basically got all of my information with me here, and we have lots of passwords for lots of different apps and online websites for the business. So they're all in one nice secure place, and I don't have to have that little sort of black book that has all my passwords in. Okay, this is where we'd manage our Google account. I'll have a look at that in a moment. You can customize your Chrome, much like any other browser, change the colors, put a logo in, an avatar. Okay. And you can sort of import bookmarks and settings from a file. So if you're bringing them in from a different computer, you can do that there. Okay, autofills. Okay, these are all my passwords that are saved here. I think I can safely show you those. Okay, because all the passwords are hidden. And to access them, you have to click on the this button and put your device password in. It's based on, I've got showing 8 compromised passwords. They're a whole load of really old ones from things like routers from back in the day that are still on the list. I haven't cleared them off yet. It's set up to offer to save passwords. It's set that way for default. Okay, and you can search all your passwords in here as well for ease. And if I've got 5 different Amazon accounts, it's going to remember all those. Okay, so useful section. Payment methods, I won't show you this bit. This is where you would store your credit cards, payment cards. I know some people don't trust having their payment cards stored in their browser, but if you've got all those different security levels set up, people have still got to be able to know your email address, know your password, have your phone, be able to get into your phone. There's a limit to what level of caution that you can actually have without just saying, I'm never going to buy anything online. So we trust it and never really had any problems with it. You can store your addresses as well for various sort of form autofills. So yeah, if I'm filling out a web form, it will pre-populate it depending on whether I'm putting in Roger or details for the Internet Business School or Simon. It just makes life a bit quicker for you. Okay, in the privacy and security section, you can always run a safety check, which will tell you again if any of your passwords have been in data breaches, or if any of your extensions are compromised. I'll explain extensions in a minute, a bit later. These are the bits up here that I've got as add-ons into Chrome to make it give it more functionality. You can check your cookies as well. You've got your safe browsing settings here, and just basically the basic things about how Chrome can access your camera and pop-ups, how they deal with bits and pieces. And if you've blocked sites, you can put them in here as well. most people won't ever need to use this. Okay, you've got the general sort of appearance. That was the theme. You can add a bookmarks bar along the top. So if I put my bookmarks bar, there's my shortcuts to some websites that I use more regularly. And yeah, nothing much important here. Search engine, you can choose your default. Now, because it is Chrome, it will come up with Google Chrome as the or Google search as the default browser, your personal choice. But I say, you know, Google's got a sort of best range of information and highest quality search results. I should really stop talking on my phone. When I'm saying Google so much, it's triggered my Google help on my phone. Sorry about that. Okay, and then you can also define on startup. I have it always set up as continue where I left off. So if my computer turns off, it will reload all the pages that I had open, or you could sort of set it a specific set of pages to open every time you open Google Chrome. Okay. Then we have a look at extensions. So I said extensions, the great thing about Google Chrome is it's got a lot of other functionality that you can add into it. So I've got, and they're called extensions, all pretty much free. So on my Google Chrome, this is the extensions button. I've got something called Click and Clean that I was trying out earlier. I've got my mail track Gmail tracker, which I'll show you. It's linked to text fragment. So Loom is in there, Vidyard, those are all screen recording, Zoom schedulers. Okay, I can pin them or unpin them to remove them off this fast access. Okay, so essentially, you know, if I wanted to access something really quickly, then I would, oh, so this doesn't actually need to be set up. I'll show you what this, no, actually, I'll come back to that in a minute, okay, because otherwise I'm getting sidetracked. I'm showing you what extensions are. It's too easy to get carried away because there's so much that we can say. Okay, so these are the extensions that I've got added into my browser. Okay, and if I go to, hold on. Oh, we want the Google Chrome store to show extensions. Let's remember where they are. More tools, extensions. Where's my Chrome store gone? Oh, they're down here, isn't it? There we are. Okay, so this opens up the Chrome store. I know what I'm doing. I know where everything is. Honestly. All right, so these are all the options you've got for Chrome extensions. There's literally thousands of them. Okay, you can look at them from the favorites lists. You can look at the sort of most common ones that people put in. So if you want to put in Google Translate, if you want to put in a button that automatically saves documents to Google Drive, it's there. Richard says, what's the point of an extension? Okay, so an extension is to give you a sort of quick functionality inside your Google browser. So if I was making a screen recording and wanted to, you know, if I was having to open Vidyard, I might have to go to another tab and log into that and start off recording. I can just do it from a button here. If I wanted to access SEO Quake to give me information on a web page. You know, I can just do it from a click of a button. SEO Quake. Let's just show you what that does. Has anyone used SEO Quake? No. Okay. Let's just have a look at one of our simple websites somewhere. SEO Quake gives me sort of diagnostics on the website details. So it will tell me what needs sort of changing, what's good, what's bad. You can also see keywords on there as well, on different pages, and the caches. So we use this a fair amount to look at other websites to see how good they are or what keywords people have on. So I can just do that from a click of a button rather than having to go into SEO Quake and type in the website. Okay, so they're kind of like shortcut functionalities inside your Chrome browser. Okay, that's what an extension is, to make life easier and quicker. All right, and honestly, there's absolutely hundreds of them, hundreds of thousands. Okay, now the thing to do is they've all got review scores on them. Okay, and generally, if they're a bit of a rubbish review, don't install them. Okay, because you do have to give some of them permissions when you're installing them. You know, it might have access to your Google Drive information, etc. So you've got to really trust the extension, because these are some of the extensions. They can, if they have a data breach, it might sort of show your email address to the outside world. Okay, so they've got to be good quality ones that you trust. Okay, and you can try one and just install it. Printer friendly, save to Google Drive. Oh, someone said use Grammarly. So if I wanted to add Grammarly to my Google Chrome, I just select it, just check the details, look for apps that are regularly updated as well. You know, if it hasn't been updated in 2 years, then don't go near it. Okay, and it would be a simple case of adding it to my data, accepting the terms there. Okay, let's see what that's worked on. It's just sort of checking and installing. Okay, so now Grammarly has been added to Chrome. Okay, so I would then access it through here. Oh, sorry. Where's Grammarly gone? There we are, Grammarly. If I wanted to pin it, it's here, so it's now shows in my list of extensions here. No problem. And I'll leave this up as well, and we'll come back to this because this is going to be quite useful. Okay, so installing an extension is that simple. Okay, so have a look through the Google Chrome store. Just don't go mad with them. Just use the ones that you like. Only do them sort of one at a time, because if you install a Duff extension, sometimes it can slow your browser or affect your computer. So if you've ever got any slowness on your computer and you use extensions, then just remove the extensions one by one. Okay, so I would just go to here, click the 3 dots and remove from Chrome. okay, which will uninstall it, which I'll do with that one because I didn't like that one. Okay, simple as that. Now that extension has gone from my Google Chrome. Ian asks, have you experienced any problems, conflicts using Google on an iPhone? I haven't, because I don't use an iPhone. It's a simple answer. My wife has iPhone and uses Google all the time on it, so not a problem. It's not an issue. Peter asks, is Grammarly English or American English? I don't know. I haven't used it before. We'll might have a look at it later. I was just showing it as an example of installing an extension and how it works. Okay. All right. So, okay, we were looking at our Google setup. Let's get rid of this, the Chrome setup. Okay, so that's pretty much everything on the Chrome settings. Okay, so we've downloaded Chrome, and now we're going to look at a Google account. Okay, oh, can I come back to that one? I'm going to need that one. I don't need that one. Right. And Google account. Let's have. Okay. Right. No, I don't want that one. Google account sign up. Create a Google account. That's the login. Let's just see where it is. No, go to, oh, sorry, create an account. There we are. No, that's gone. Let's create an account. Okay, so this is the form I showed you on the slideshow. Okay, I won't go all the way through it. I'll just show you the first bit. Okay, so this is where we're going to set up an email address. So, unsurprisingly, if I wanted me, that username is taken. Try another. It gives you the options of I could be 00 if I wanted to, but you know, you can accept one of those suggestions, or if you were if you were doing a business one. I've had one called automation relation. No, that's taken because I've got it. I could have these different options on here. You could try putting a my in front, or the, or whatever. Okay, that one's available. I would just set up a password in here, and then next would take me through to the personal details I talked about. So date of birth, your telephone number, and your recovery email. Okay, so see on this one, it's defaulted to my browser to United Kingdom because it knows that I'm here from my other settings. Okay, so it's fairly simple to set up that Google account, which is about as far as a lot of people go. Okay, Don says, how do you delete email accounts that you don't use anymore? I'll show you that as well. Okay, so we've got our Google accounts. This is on my profile. I've got here, Internet Business School. Okay, and right, these are my Google accounts. Manage my Google account. So I'm going to have a look at my Google account for automation relation. I set up sort of last year. I haven't done much on it. I just did as an example for a previous Saturday school. Okay. So this is my sort of live Google account. my account is protected. That's all good. So sorry, I can't show you the personal information. Okay, data and privacy. Okay, now I sort of use things like Google Maps all the time, and you know, Google will I let Google follow where I've been on my Google Maps. You know, so yes, if I was worried about sort of big people following me or knowing where I've been, you could turn that off. But I've got a problem with it. Okay. I can synchronize my sort of history settings as well, from one device to another, and my YouTube history as well, because Google is YouTube. Okay, and I've got ad settings, personal results settings. Okay, and the info that you can share with others. Okay, I'm not. And then you've got the payment methods and subscriptions. You know, this is a very personal, you know, setup, depending on what you prefer, how much you want to share. Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, I was going to show you this one. This is the their suggestion that they need to do. Okay, but we're going to have a look at the security side. So my account is protected with a password. Okay, but I haven't set up any two-factor authorization or using my phone to log in. Okay, oh, look, there's my telephone number. Please, you know, if you're not in my inbox, I won't answer. But so I'm going to use my phone to sign in. Okay, it's nice and easy. This is where I have to remember my password for this account. Yeah, ring, Danny. Yeah, I've got all my family passwords in there. Oh, bam. Okay, so maybe not. Let's not do it on that one. Let's do it on this one. Oh, I've already got Google in there. Okay, sorry, I switched accounts there, just because I didn't want to type in my my Google password on that one. But essentially, if you just put in your Google password there, you would get you set it up for your account telephone number, and just get a code to your phone to confirm the linkage, and that's it, all done. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so just have a go at it, is what I'd say. I just swap back to that one. Oh, I don't need to verify that one. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move that screen across to the other side of my desk, just so that I can, hopefully you're not seeing it anymore. Can you just confirm that you can't see that login page? No, can't see. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. This is one that I do have written down. Okay. Right, so let's come back over here. Oh, I need to just put that back into the browser. Right. Yeah, Biddy says he gets overwhelmed with so many passwords and security checks. Yeah, it can be a little bit of a pain, but that's why for a lot of these things I'm using Google Chrome. as I say, to store all my passwords. I just hadn't saved my password for this particular account in my Google Chrome. Otherwise, it would have pre-populated it. So sorry, I should have checked that a bit earlier. Okay, right. So I've got an Android phone. Okay, to set up open the settings. So I have to go onto my phone here and settings, and then tap accounts. Accounts and backups. Manage accounts. Add account. It's going to be a Google account. And it checks my password. Sorry, you can't quite see this. So I'm basically signing into my Google account on my phone. This automation elation. gmail.com. So I'm just going to that Google sign in. Let's put in the password again. All right, just check that's correct. Right, I agree to the terms. Okay. Right, so let's try this again. Okay, right. See, it's now just picked up my phone. Simple as that. And let's just do this. Okay, and it's just come up on my phone as oh, I don't know whether you won't be able to see this because of the background. And it asked me I said, are you trying to sign in from another computer? And it just confirms it. Okay, and then I have to put my fingerprint on, and my sign-in is approved. Okay, and I'm just as simple as that. Okay, and now I can turn it on. Okay, so I've now got this other Google account protected on my phone. Okay, simples. You can manage that, can't you? Okay, I think let's just got a couple of questions coming in. And may I ask why we would choose Chrome to handle passwords rather than through a password manager? Any thoughts, please? Okay, so Chrome is a password manager. It has that password manager setting into it. So your other password managers, you've got to log into to access the password, yeah? But in Google Chrome, you've got to be able to log into it as well. So you're protected on that Google Chrome account that accesses all your passwords. So I've now just made my passwords even more secure by having that two-step login on my phone. Okay, so from my point of view, it's exactly the same. It is a password manager, but I'm not having to pay 30, 40, 50 quid a year for the privilege of having a sort of a standalone server. Okay, because basically, even if you're doing a sort of paid password, then all your passwords are stored on a secure server with whatever company you're using. My passwords are stored in a secure server in the Google Cloud. So it's pretty much the same. I'm not having to pay the money for it. Okay, Sally is getting a 500 error. A 500 error. I don't know what a 500 error is. Okay, she's in now. Yay, brilliant. Okay, we got another person who's secure. Okay, and I can also, so now I can see all my sort of history of logins as well. So if you've ever worried about where you've accessed your account, you can see it, okay, on a phone, on your Mac. All right, you can see when you last changed your password. I've got a recovery email and a recovery phone. I've got my devices, okay, and I could, these are all the devices you've logged in with your Google account. So you could, if you click on Manage Devices, you can log out of that account, and you know, so if you'd lost a phone, then you can log out of that account directly on that phone. I've got my apps in here as well. All right, so loads of stuff on security. Signing in with Google, you can use your Google account to sign into a site or an app, which is really good. Password manager, linked accounts, I don't need those. Okay, so lots of security options there. Okay, so that's Google account. We got to 11 o'clock. We haven't got a second speaker today because it's just going to be all me because I've got so much to tell you. Okay, so that is Chrome and your Google account set up nicely. Okay, now I'm going to show you about a bit of sort of navigation. Does anyone know what these 9 dots are called? You get a prize if you know what they're called. Nothing coming through. Okay, it's called a waffle. Yeah, it's the Google Waffle. You weren't far wrong, Catherine. Pie, waffle. Okay, and this is the way that we navigate around and swap between apps. Okay. Okay, so I click on the waffle and it shows me all the other Google apps or a selection of them that I can go to. Okay, so I've got my Gmail, Maps, YouTube, Google Play, loads of them. If I want to open the calendar, it's through this one. Then my Google Drive bits as well. All right, so this is just the simple way you move around. So we're going to be looking at Google Mail. Okay, so I'm just going to click on Gmail, opens up a new tab. Okay, and it's opening up my Gmail account for automation elation. Okay, I made sure there were some more emails in here for you. Okay, so Gmail, the way Gmail works, I say it's all on the cloud. Okay, so you haven't got any messages stored on your local computer or your local device. It's kind of one of the ways that that Google monetizes by charging you for storage. But I think you get 15 gigabytes of free storage, which is a heck of a lot. And it tends to be just photos and videos that that fill it up, and they rely on people sort of blithely sort of they'll ask if they want to sync your phone camera on your phone to back up your photos to Google Photos, just so that you can fill up your account, and then your storage, and then one day you've got that lovely job of going through all your photos to delete them all of the ones you don't need. So it is really good practice if you have got your photos synced to back up on your Google account into Google Photos, that you take a photo on your phone, check it. If you don't want it, delete it. Saves you a lot of bother later on. Just keep the good ones. All right. Danny asks, can you get the waffle to stay on your Chrome in the plugin area? It seems to go off. You don't want an off waffle. This waffle is always on any Google page, as far as I know. So it's on the Drive page, it's on the security page, it's on the Google account page. Okay, so on any Google page, it's there. Okay, so it's all pretty much easily accessed. Okay. Incidentally, just before we just dive into the Gmail side of stuff, okay, if I click on Google account, okay, you can see that I've got my office account, my personal account in here. Okay, it means I can open them all in the one browser. Okay, so I could have 3 different email inboxes open on different tabs. I can have 3 different Google Drives open. So for flexibility of business, it's really really useful. Clayton, you keep on raising your hand. No, just any questions, Clayton, just pop them into chat. Okay, much easier. Okay, so Chrome Waffle. Okay, so Gmail, you're accessing all your email in the cloud. Okay, and it's the Gmail setup, nice and simple, from very similar to a lot of other email inboxes. Okay, but the great thing that we like about Gmail, and Simon runs sort of 7 businesses out of Gmail. I run 3 or 4 of those for him out of my Gmail account. I know that with Google, or Gmail, if someone sends me an email, or if I will get it. Okay. The reason I say that is that there are several other sort of email providers like Yahoo, who decide that they're not going to let you see some emails. We have a terrible time sort of if we've got a new customer and we're sending you a welcome email or a purchase email. People say, I haven't received an email. Okay, and we say, well, check your spam, and it's not in spam. It's because your email provider has just said, nope, you can't see that. We've had an issue with some of our webinars, the go-to webinar that we use on sort of Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some people who've got Yahoo accounts have said, well, I've signed up, but I haven't received any information back. I haven't received my link for the webinar. And it's because GoToWebinar and Yahoo have decided they don't like GoToWebinar and just don't send the message. So it's crazy. So if you're signing up for anything, just use a Gmail. It gives you so much less grief. But Google and Gmail actually lets you, it learns from you what's important to you. Okay, so each of the messages on here has a flash button. If I mark that as important, okay, Gmail now knows that any messages from Google are important, and it won't put it into spam, okay, or it won't hide it in a different part of the inbox. Okay, so you can teach your inbox to show you the right emails. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look at the particular setup. Okay, so when you have setup as default, Gmail divides your inbox into 3 different categories. You've got your primary category for important stuff. You've got some bits here which are social. So if it thinks it's an email for emails from social networks, media sharing sites, dating services, and other social sites, okay, are just put into one category, usually because you just don't want to see them all the time. Okay, but if I did have any, if I was setting up online dating and I wanted all my profiles or to come through into my main inbox, I would just, if they came in here, I would click on that button to put them into the main inbox from that email provider. So you just teach it. Promotions, okay. These are all things that Gmail thinks is a promotion or an update. Okay, so I've signed up to Zapier, so they'll get all their notifications in here. Some of Simon's bits are in here. Okay, it just sort of helps you keep them in one place. Okay, I'm going to show you the other ways around it as well. So I can star a particular message to say that it's super important, and then filter my inbox to say, just show me the starred emails. Okay. You can sort of snooze emails and get them to remind you when it's important. You can have a look at your sent inbox as well. Okay, all fairly sort of standard stuff. Okay, and if you click on the more bit, you can start seeing all your mail. You can see spam as well, and labels, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, is my quick question. Okay, what is a spam email? Is it an email that you just don't want to receive anymore? Yeah, or is it unsolicited? Okay. An email you haven't signed up for, potential fraud. Yeah, unsolicited. Okay, yeah. So in our sort of inboxes, there's the spam inbox. Nothing in particularly in this one. Okay, but you know, we've all got big amounts of emails in your spam. Okay, but and so Google will filter out the important information. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at some of the questions that are coming in as well. Google will determine what is spam, okay, because it's learned from all the millions and billions of emails that are sent each day of what is likely to be spam, and it will pop it into your inbox, but into your spam box. But if you've got something in here that was spam, you would just say to it, no, this isn't spam, put it into my main inbox again. Okay, so you have to just sort of go through and every now and again and sort of teach it of what's spam or not. Okay, but if you've got and this is from an internet marketer's point of view, this point is really important. Okay, if I was getting an email from the Click, okay, which is a really good site, okay, up along the top, okay, I could report it as spam, okay, which sends a message back to Google saying, oh, this is an unsolicited email. Okay, but you could be just hitting that button saying, no, I just don't want to see that anymore. I just want to mark these as spam. Okay, but that actually now marks you as a complainer, as a spam complainer, because actually this one, I actually signed up for it. Okay, I physically signed up for it, and all I need to do is just unsubscribe from it if I don't want to see it anymore. That's much fairer to the marketer. Just unsubscribe. There always has to be an unsubscribe button. Okay, if there isn't an unsubscribe button, then fine, mark it as spam, or I'll show you in a minute how to create a rule to make sure that any emails from that address come in and get deleted or go into your spam. Okay, all right, so please don't just be a spam button, okay, because actually all the email addresses that I get onto our database go through a cleaning system. So every one of the email addresses people signed up is checked, and it's checked to make sure it's a verifiable email address, that it's deliverable, and that also that it's safe. And one of the categories that it checks is whether you're a spam complainer. And there's a lot of email providers or internet marketers who don't want spam complainers on their list. So you might be unsubscribed. The reason being is when we're sending emails through internet marketing platform, you are judged on the amount of complaints, the spam complaints that come through from your emails. And if you go above 0.1%, sites will give you a warning, or they can kick you off and you lose your whole sort of marketing setup. Okay, so yeah, just mark, just don't just go mad with the report scrum, unsubscribe from something. If it's definitely not something you've subscribed to, then yeah, report spam. Okay. Okay, we've got questions flying in. Okay, but let's just have a little bit look around. Okay, I've got a list on here. On the right hand side of the screen, there's also another menu where you can access some of the other apps as well. So I could access contacts, or if I've got any tasks that I've set up, you can have a list of them down here. Google Keep, which is kind of like notes if I want to go through the calendars. Okay, so you've got these other bits on the side as well. Okay. Okay, search options. So if I want to search my whole inbox for Simon, I can search from a particular email address, or emails that have been sent to a particular one, or an email subject, or something that includes the words. So if I wanted to look for emails that included marketing, it's going to show me all the emails that I've got in that and highlight the word. Okay. I could also look for, filter a little bit more. If you're looking for a particular date, it's a bit easier. You can search for emails that have got attachments as well. Okay. And there's also this button here that says create a filter. Okay, so a filter is a kind of like a rule. Okay, so I'm going to change that. Let's just go back a minute. Press the wrong button. Okay. So if I wanted to organize my inbox, okay, and I want to put all emails that come from the click into one section, and maybe label it so that I can see it in my inbox. Okay, I can either click on the three dots and say filter messages like these, or I can search it in the inbox and filter message, create a filter. Okay, so I'm just going to go filter messages like these. So I want all emails from Team the Click. Okay, and I'm going to press this button, create filter. Now, these are the options I've got. So I could skip the inbox entirely, archive it. Okay, I could mark it as read automatically, or star it. We'll come back to this. Is what we're going to do. We're going to apply a label. We could forward it to another email address, or you can automatically delete it. Okay, which you might want to do with some of those. If you've got a spam one that you don't want to see, just put it in a rule and just mark it to delete. Okay, but this one, I want to put all my emails from the click into one particular place, and I also want to mark it. So I'm going to apply a label. I don't have a label set up for it, so I'm going to go for new label, and I'm going to call it click. Okay. this nest label under, okay, this is if you start using a lot of labels. So in my main inbox, I've got a label that says, a main label that says action, and then I might have some sub labels in my list that says action Roger or other team members, just so I know who's dealing with which email. Okay, so that's kind of like the nest label under bit. It kind of makes more sense when you've got more labels. Okay, so I'm now applying this label click to all of these messages, and I'm also going to apply it to 6 matching conversations. So if you've got a big inbox that you want to clean up, you can do it. Okay, and let's create that filter. Okay, and you now see down the left hand side, I've got a shortcut to all my click emails. All right, and the tag hasn't come up, so I'm just going to refresh that. Oh look, so okay, you see now in my inbox I've got a little label. Okay, it comes up as default as this sort of grey, black and white, but we're going to change that so that you can highlight things a bit better. So we're going to scroll to the bottom of the list and we're going to go manage labels. Okay, this is in the settings section of Gmail. Okay, and where's my label? Click. Okay, we're going to, actually, no, that's not the right better way of doing it. Okay, I'm going to go to this folder here. Okay, and I'm going to go for label color. Okay, there's extra ones that you can put in here. Okay, so if I wanted to change the label color to that, okay, it's going to appear more easily seen in my inbox. Okay, and if you can add a custom color, so you can choose whatever text color you want. That doesn't really work, does it? Okay, so you can have a play around depending on how you want. Okay, so it's quite customizable. You know, if you had a difficulty with certain colors, you can make those labels just however you want. Right, so using labels and those filters is a really powerful way of keeping your inbox organized and clean. All right, and I really encourage you to have a play with those. Have many people got those bits set up? Yeah, Janice does. Yeah, if you've got a busy inbox, it makes super sense. Okay, because every time I set up a label, it adds another sort of subfolder on this side, and it's easier to catch them all. Okay, so while I've just been going through this thing, we've had quite a few questions that come in. So let's just see if there's anything in there. Okay, Billy asks, Roger, what is cache memory? Do we lose data or will all the data be in the history? I don't quite understand that question, Billy. Cache memory is something that's on your computer cache. It's loads the, it keeps a copy of the images or website from a website in a file on in your browser, so that you can effectively load a website more quickly the next time you visit it. So every now and again, we sort of recommend people to clear their cache, which deletes all the old information. It just means the first time you go back to a website, it's going to take a little bit longer to load, but not anything that you would notice. Ian says, how do you mark an email in primary as spam? I think I've done that one. That's fine. Richard, we've done that one. Billy says his Gmail storage is running out. What's the best thing to do? As I don't have the patience to sit back and go back to old emails and delete them. I'm not sure if there's still any need for them for the future reference. Okay. I probably haven't got as many. Okay, if your storage is running out, okay, you get 15 gigabytes of memory, and it's very unlikely to be your email that's causing any trouble. It's going to be your photos or your videos that are causing issue. Okay, okay. If I just go on, this is my personal account, 47 gigabytes. Ooh. There is a option. I'll just have a little look. Okay, so this is my storage. Okay, there's an option here. Oh, if anyone wanted to know the prices, 100 gigabytes, $15.99 a year. Like 200 gigabytes, I'd get for 25 gig, 25 quid a year. And that's a heck of a lot of information. Okay, but there's an option here of saying free up account storage. Okay, and you can go through here and say, oh, I can save 380 kilobytes on deleted emails, which is kind of nothing. My spam emails are 2.5 meg, which is just nothing. But my large items, okay, 21 gigabytes. So it's going to show me the big videos that I've taken, and you might have duplicates, large photos, large files. Okay, and this is where you can just go through and review and clear. Okay, so it does help you with that process. Okay, you know, because essentially you'll get to the point where your mailbox will be full because you've filled up your account with photos and videos. Okay, and honestly, your emails take up very little space. All right, so I hope that answers that question. Don asks, what products do you use to check emails? I don't know what you mean, Don. Okay, so when you say check emails, I suppose, are you thinking about for safety or security? If you're thinking about for safety or security or for viruses, Gmail is checking these. Okay, it's got a list of sort of dodgy emails. You still have a responsibility to check that an email that you don't know that it's coming in is actually from the right provider. Okay, and you can generally give yourself a bit more of an idea by having a look under a link here. So if this said it was from the click, but it was from Russian bot at nascar.com, okay, you would know that it's not from the click. Okay, and I wouldn't be opening that one. Anyone, an email address that is looks dodgy under here, then beware of it. Okay, but yeah, you don't. I haven't got any other. My free security antivirus is only going to be looking when I'm opening up an attachment or a link, or if it's downloading a document, it's going to be looking to see if there's anything dodgy in it. Okay, so hopefully that's answered that question. Cache memory unsolicited. Okay, just trying to make sure that we don't get behind because there's quite a lot of questions coming in on this. Felix asks, how do you change the header of an email address? Okay, I'll come and show you what you can do. You can have an email template. Okay. Right. Okay. Chris says you've downloaded Chrome but seem to have lost passwords. Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by that, because you've got to have saved passwords in it if you've just downloaded Chrome, or there's so you need to sort of add them as you go along, and Chrome will remember. Okay. Okay. Billy asked, when we click on duplicate to delete files, will we have a copy stored, or we'll lose all of them? Do you mean in the email? If you delete an email, it will go. So you don't need that. Okay. And finally, Ian asks which antivirus to use. I think I've got Avast on here. It's much the same, all the free ones. Is whatever works best with your system. If you don't like it, ditch it. Okay, right. Let's have a look at the Gmail settings, okay? Because this is again super important that people don't have a play around with these. So the settings button is up here. Okay, you get some quick settings first, where you can change the look and feel. So if I wanted to change it, my email box from default to comfortable, I could do that. I don't think it's actually done anything. Apologies, my Labrador's just come in. You can change the way that the inbox shows the order of messages. I mean, it's much like any other email account. You just choose which one works for you. Honestly, I just find the default settings work for me. You can change the theme of it as well. Honestly, so if I wanted some sea mammals behind it, it's dead easy. There are hundreds and hundreds of themes if you want to play around with it. Not a problem. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to click on the see all settings side. Okay, now there's a lot going on here. Okay, Gmail gives you more options than most. You know, things like Yahoo will give you some of those, as well as all the ads that come with it. Okay, but the default settings for Gmail are pretty good, but there's a few ones to look at. So these are all the categories that we're going to go across the top. You can change your display language, your country code, that'd be fine. If you want to show more emails on the front page of the inbox, change it there. Okay, this is a really important one that people miss, an undo send. Okay, we've all had that oh crap moment when we've written an email and sent it and gone, oh, I've sent it to the wrong person, or I meant to say something else. You can have an undo send option. Okay, and set the number of seconds on it. It defaults to 5 seconds, but you might want to give yourself a little bit more time. Okay, so if I find 10 seconds enough for me to work out that I've made a boo-boo. So essentially, when I'm writing an email and should we send one to? Let's go to Internet Business School. Show you how this works. I've spelled that right, yeah. Oh no, that's got sorry, I clicked on gmail.com. Right, let's just do a test. Okay, right. Now, hopefully somewhere down in the bottom left-hand corner, okay, you will see sending. Okay, and I want to undo it. So I'll just click on undo. And it goes back to the email again. Okay, super useful. Okay, just to change that setting. Let's just go back again to there. Right, so yeah, cancellation period, just make it a bit longer. You can set up a default behavior to reply or reply to all if you've got big messages through, or if you're on a regular mailing list with lots of other people, something that you can just set it so that when you reply, it's replying to everybody on that list. Okay, realistically, many of these you don't need to change at all. Grammar suggestions are on, spelling suggestions are on, personalization. Okay, these are all your sort of personal choices. Okay, this is where you can change your personal icon again, or put your photo in. Okay, right, yeah, email signature. Okay, so you can have a default email signature that appears at the end of every email that you write. You can put images in, website links as well. Okay, so, or you can create different ones. And then you've got your out of office as well, that you can set up if you're going out. I do like people when they're setting up. I get out of office responses from people who've been out of their office for a year and a half because they haven't turned it off, which is just a bit annoying. But yeah, simple out of office. Okay, we've got other way of looking at our labels as well. So I've shown you those ones. Inbox. Okay, an interesting one here. So set up our inbox. By default, we have that social tab and promotions tab. You can add updates and forums. I have mine set up with updates as a different category. So if I just change that and save, let's just refresh that. Okay, I've now got my primary tab, social tab, my promotions, and email updates in one sort of section. Okay, so it might make it easier to see your main emails. Okay, that's got through. Okay, so yeah, it's again a personal choice. Okay, so let's just go back to those settings. Inbox. Yeah, there's not a huge amount that I would recommend changing in here. Okay, filtered mail, don't override filters. Yeah, this is just, you don't want to change that because that's stopping Google from learning or applying what it knows to your messages and getting rid of the rubbish ones. If you like a reading pane on your inbox, you can set it up here. Okay, I'll come back to those ones in a moment. Filtered blocked addresses. So this is where you can see that I've set up that filter for the emails from the click. And you can create new filters from here as well. You can block email addresses as well. So it's just another way of keeping your accounts clear. I'm going to come back to these two in a minute. Okay, add-ons, I haven't installed any yet. Chat and Meet. If people use Google Chat and Google Meet, you can swap it between showing Google Hangouts in the left-hand side to Google Chat. I don't particularly use them myself, but if you do, it's there. Advanced bit. Okay, templates is quite useful. I use that all the time in the main Internet Business School. So templates, if I enable that option, I can then, hold on, let's just save changes, show you really quickly how it works. If you're sending regular emails to similar emails to someone, I can compose a message. We'll just put a quick, sorry, we don't want to put a name in there. Let's put that to welcome. And then we can just put some text in there. Oh, we don't want Grammarly. Grammarly's appeared now. Okay, just down the bottom right, there's the more options button for the mail message. And now templates has appeared there. And I can save this draft as a template and save it as a new template. Give it a name, welcome. Okay, and the reason this would work now is if I was sending it a regular email, I could just go to templates, insert the template, and it's welcome. I'll get rid of these in a minute. Okay, so if you're just sending a regular email all the time, just save it as a template. Okay, so that's templates being super duper useful, and offline doesn't really. You can store your emails offline, which means it stores everything to your local device. It just makes it takes it ages to load, and realistically, I'm not quite sure why you would. Okay, but you can do it that way. You've got the themes options over here. Okay, so there's lots going on in here. A lot of it is personal choice, but we've got these two remaining boxes for accounts and import and forwarding of Pop and Imap. Okay, now this is where I can import mail from another email provider. I can set up to send as in my inbox through and send and receive from different email addresses as well. So if you've got a domain email address, you can set it up in your Gmail to send and receive and check messages from that account and just monitor it all from your Gmail inbox. Okay, so on a previous Saturday school, I set up an account for one of my mother-in-law's pet portraits business, and I've got a link to show you how to do that at the end of the show. Okay, but that's a really cool thing to be able to manage your work inbox from inside your Gmail. Okay, so this is one. So if someone's moving from Yahoo to Gmail, okay, you can actually import all the mail that you've got from Yahoo. So we're going to see how this works. Now, I haven't actually done this yet, but I've set up a Yahoo account over here. I was doing some testing on and deliverabilities some time ago. I've got so many windows open. Okay, so we're going to see how it works. So I've logged into that Yahoo account on a different tab. Okay, and I want to import from Yahoo. It's so automatic to write Gmail. Okay, let's see how this works. So it's just checking that account is valid. I have signed into that account. So we're going to press continue, see what happens. Okay, so it then says the migration will allow access to my contacts, my profile, and my mail. So yeah, let's agree to this. Authentication successful. Close the window. Okay, it's now checking that linkage, and gives him the option to import contacts, mail, and import new mail for the next 30 days. Okay, yeah, let's do that. See what happens. Okay, your messages are being imported. Might take a long time if you've got a lot of Yahoos. Okay, let's just see what that does. So somewhere it's going to, might have to come back to it in a minute. Let's just refresh. But anyway, that now is going to get Yahoo emails into my main inbox. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so my Yahoo mails are now in my Gmail. Ta-da! Dead easy. Okay, I'm so glad that worked. This is such a relief. Okay, and I could set labels for that to move all my Yahoo mails into one box. Okay, so that's the accounts and imports. Okay, yeah, I'll show you the list for sending mail as a different account. Okay, this one is Pop3. So I can, if you need to, you can forward emails from one account to another account if it helps you. So I might have a filter, especially on some of my work emails, that move things from a support email to my inbox. I could do that through there. And so I've just got everything in one place. All right. These are all the more sort of techie stuff that you would do through your developer. So Pop3 and Imap are essentially just sort of security levels for your email addresses, especially through your domains. Okay, but so I'll show. I'll give you the link to the walkthrough about setting up sending and receiving as a different person within your Gmail address. Okay, so I could, if I had a new message here, I've got two different options that I'm sending from. So if I wanted to send that from commissions at Pet Portraits, I can just swap it over, and I could set up a different email signature as well that applied for commissions at Pet Portraits. Okay, well, so there's kind of a load of stuff there. Okay, it just needs you to work through on those important bits that I've given you, and everything. A lot of other things is just personal, but you can just sort of go back and try something out. If you don't like it, just go back into the settings and change it. Okay. Ian says, can you import emails stored in Outlook on a laptop? If Outlook, yeah, Outlook just does it straight to your device, doesn't it, rather than in the cloud. So where was that? I think I don't know. You can have a look at Learn More and see which providers will let you do it. Okay. Okay, one more super tip as well. When you've got a Gmail address, I know some people know this tip, but you can actually use sort of variations of your Gmail account. Okay. So if I signed up to a hold on, where's that click? Right. The click. Let's just go to I'm sure there's a button on here to send it to other people. Subscribe. Okay, so I've got this set up as automationalation@gmail.com. Okay, automation. Okay, so I can go up to the point where I've got the first part of my email address. Okay, but if I need to, I can put a plus sign in front of here, and I could put a number, or I could put a word. Okay, and I'm going to create this email address that's automationalation plus click@gmail.com. Yeah, and sign up with that. Let's hope that that's worked. You're in the click, right? And okay, in my updates tab, I've now got this new Gmail automation plus click. Okay, so if you're sharp, you can see the real potential for that. So you could have an email that just logged into the Internet Business School, or to any other login you've got, automation plus an extra bit, okay, or a number or whatever. And then I could create a filter that said, right, show all emails from automationalation plus click go into a folder. Yeah, it's super useful. Okay, so yeah, you can put numbers in there or words, whatever. So it's a great way of sort of testing sites and keeping your inbox clean. Okay, I had to show you that one. One thing that took me ages to work out as well in Gmail is there's this hamburger up here. Okay, and sometimes if you click on it, your left hand bit goes bouncy, and if you don't know that you've clicked on that hamburger, it can be really frustrating to figure out what the heck's gone on. If you click it again, it stays in place. Okay, that frustrated me for ages. Okay, that's cool. Hamburger. I've shown you some themes and settings as well, templates. So I think that's pretty much everything to get you started on Gmail, using it properly, and also into a Google account as well. All right, and if I now go into my slideshow again, I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment and open up my slideshow, share screen. Let's play from current slides. Okay, go back to that slide again. Hopefully that's worked. You can see that again. Okay, right. Let's just click across to the next page. Come on. Okay, so just in the sort of short side, I've got links here for the Google account sign up, Google Chrome as well. And I'm just going to put this link in chat. This is just a document that I did to give you a walkthrough of how the step-by-steps to create and add in a domain email address into your Google Gmail. Okay, that's really, really useful. Okay, and one of the last links I've got there is MailTrack, which is one of the extensions that we use all the time. It's you have a free account, just checks whether people have read or opened the emails you send them. So that's really useful if you're doing stuff in a business and you want to make sure that a message has got through. Okay, so mailtrack.io. All right, cool. Right. Any last questions before I'm just going to take a sip of water because that's an awful lot of info. Questions? Any more questions? No problem at all, Andrew. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Derek, thank you very much. No problem at all, Ian. Danny, what would you use to clear email lists? Not quite sure what you mean on that one, Danny. Can you explain a bit more? I think I need to make this text box a bit bigger because it's just pinging, pinging, pinging. Right. Mark, so using your own domain within Gmail just means just your domain address will be shown. It means that you can, instead of if you've got a web a domain email, so if you've got info@yourwebsite.com, instead of having to log into webmail for that email address online to send and receive, you can set it up so you can do it within your Gmail inbox. Okay, and if you follow that link that I put in, that bit.ly link, it'll show you how to do it as a send and receive as that domain inbox within your Gmail. The mail track link, can I put the mail track link? Yeah, I think so. I think if you just Google mail track, it comes up super quick. Mailtrack.io. It's really useful. Okay, and there's your mail track link. Okay, Danny says clean email list, check the list. Okay, so I know what you mean. Okay, I use a system, an app called Mailfloss to check our email list. Okay, so periodically I will run a full sweep of my email list to make sure that websites, emails are still active, haven't been abandoned and haven't been marked as spam, or inboxes aren't full. So if you're running sort of email marketing, that's a really good way of keeping your lists clean, and it will improve your email deliverability as well. Okay, I'll probably spend about sort of 100 quid a year on cleaning our large list. It's done on the number of contacts, but it's also a really good way of avoiding spam trap emails. So that is a internet service provider might take a redundant old abandoned email address and make it into a spam trap, so that if I'm emailing people on that email address through my marketing software, it will give us it could get us banned from sending emails. Spam traps, they're nasty. So it's well worth sort of cleaning up your list, and so Mailfloss works really well for that. And are you using Gmail and MailTrack instead of an autoresponder? Two different things. So Gmail I'm just using as my my main sort of inbox email to manage all the businesses. A MailTrack just helps me see if an email has been delivered or opened or read, or a link's been clicked in it. Okay, so it's not an autoresponder. It's just a method of checking deliverability and action on an email that's been sent. Okay. Billy, sometimes more relevant emails are in spam. We have to retrieve them from our inbox. Yeah, so if you've got a more relevant, I have checked my spam every day, and if there is a more an email that's gone in there that shouldn't, there's just an option to mark it as not spam. Okay, and then if you click it with the flag that I showed you next to the email, that marks it as important and teaches Google not to send it to spam. Okay, simple as that. Mark asks, thanks, Roger. Does Gmail effectively give you a bigger inbox than my hosting provider gives me? Small. I currently receive emails in the inbox. They give me, okay. Yeah, so I know what you mean. Yeah, so essentially you're talking about through your website for your domain inbox, yeah. So they give you a sort of a fairly small amount of data. So if you follow the bit.ly link that I gave you in there, that will show you how to send and receive those mails in Gmail, which give you 15 gigabytes of space for free. And you'll see an option on the import of it asks you whether you want to leave a copy of the email on your original website hosting inbox, and you don't. Okay, you don't want to have the copy in your website hosting, otherwise that fills up and they charge you more money. So just once you've got a copy into Gmail, you've got that information forever. Okay, that's cool. Right, I think that's pretty much all done. Now, say what my plans are next is I'm next on Saturday School on the 14th of May and then the 4th of June, because we're going to continue on with some more information about Google and Google Apps. Okay, so what I'm planning to do on the 14th of May is have a good old run through on Google Drive. Okay, and that is where you've got the docs. It's effectively like Outlook Office, Microsoft Office. Okay, but free. So you can have slideshows and you can have Excel spreadsheets, variety of, and I'm going to show you how they all work and how you can share information and move information from spreadsheets to spreadsheet. It's all cool. Okay, but it's quite a big subject. So I'm just going to do it in one session. If I don't cover it all in the first session on the 14th of May, then it will go on over to the 14th of June or 4th of June. And then I plan to go through things like Google Forms and some of the other Google apps as well. Okay, so we're going to try and teach you how to make the most out of Google. So I hope you enjoyed that. The recording will go up in the next, probably by the end of next week, if everything runs to schedule. Otherwise, thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you next week on Saturday School, even though it is Easter. We'll be here. Just, what else would you want to do on Saturday morning? Thank you very much, everybody. We will catch you next week.